Greetings, beloved, and welcome to our Wholesome Wednesday. Thank you so much for the feedback. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for subscribing. We continue on our book of Exodus, right? And we are now on the commandments. And last week we spoke about God saying, I am the only God. I am, right? Do not worship any other because I am the one. I can do a lot of things, but I'm one, right? Today I want us to look at the commandment that says, do not be envious of your neighbor's house. It could be your now. I want you to picture this. God says, do not be envious, right? He is speaking to a people that are in the wilderness, that are from time to time are running out of water. From time to time, they want to go back to Egypt because of the difficulties that they are facing in the desert. And this commandment comes to these people who around them, there are nations that are thriving, that have economies that are thriving. Egypt had a very thriving economy, and the Tyre and Sidon around them, where we know that Solomon got his timber from when they were now building the temple. So there are these nations around them that are doing very well, and they are in the middle of nowhere, right? They are in the middle of nowhere, no houses, no nothing. They just have their bags on their backs, and they are in the sun, fine. They have shade, they are being cooled by the cloud, right? And given light also as well at night. But around them, there are economies that are thriving, economies that are doing very well, people that are living their everyday lives. It's business as usual for other people, right? It's only their lives that have been disrupted. But for other people around them, they are doing well. So it was only natural for the children of Israel to look at those that seemed to be doing very well and wish that they were them, right? It was only natural to look at them and wish God could just say, why are we going that far? Why can't we just get in here, right? And just be able to take over and throw away. I mean, wherever we're going, anyway, there are people that are inhabiting the land and we have to fight them. So why can't we just fight these ones that are here anyway and we just get the land? But God has got another plan for them, right? And He tells them, as He's giving them this, they are looking around and they are envious. And they are wishing they could have. They are wishing they could be in those economies. They are wishing they could have a place, a country, a place, a nation, a region of their own that is called after their name. And it took them 40 years to get there. They were wishing, of course, at that particular time that they could just get there already and settle, right? And God says, don't be envious. So it is in the midst of lack, in the midst of seeing that there are nations that are doing very well in all this, right, where God comes and says, don't be envious. Now, I've heard a lot of people come to me sometimes and they'll say, why is it looks like the sons of the darkness are thriving and those that are calling upon the name of the Lord are suffering? And every time when they come to me or we are sharing a discussion or I'm seeing or I'm also part of and realizing that things are not moving, I'm reminded of this commandment, right? That the background, when the children of Israel were being given this commandment, the background, it is in the middle of all this, in the middle of the chaos, of lack, of suffering, of everything. And they only have God. They have God who is capable, who is able, right? But He has not yet fully delivered what He has promised them. And in the midst of this, before He has delivered that, He says, "Do not be envious." When you are looking around, right? All the other nations are thriving. They don't worship the God of Israel. They don't even know who He is. They're just hearing the stories that He miraculously made them cross right, the Red Sea. He miraculously led them. He miraculously fed them. He miraculously, they do not know Him, but they seem to be living in abundance. Yet the ones that seem to be the owner or are the children of this God, right, seemingly suffering. And in the midst of this suffering, he is saying, I am, you have enough that because you have me, right? And secondly, do not envy what is around you, because me, I'm going to give you a better place. So when we find ourselves in those situations where we feel like when we are looking, we like to compare ourselves. We look at the neighbor and we think the neighbor is doing better than us, and we think like they're not justified to be having a better life than us compared to us who are Christians, who are, that kind of attitude, that kind of entitlement. It is in that position, in that state, in your leg, when you're looking the other person and you're thinking they shouldn't be having what they're having because you are a child of God and they are. Supposedly, they are not even worshiping this God. God says, do not be envious. God says, you know what? You have me and I'm enough. God says, do not look at the neighbor and wish that you could have what they have. Be content with what you have. It is in the middle of all this that this commandment comes. And I'm coming to you today, drawing you closer to a God that is saying, do not be envious. Drawing you closer to a God that is saying, I can see that the children of the world, those that do not know me, are seemingly thriving. And when I look at you, or everyone else looks at you who doesn't know me, they think that you're suffering, they think that you lack. But do not be envious and wish you could have what they have. I am enough. At the right time, I am going to come through for you.